Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Chapter 33.
The chapter opens with a truly dramatic scene. We've got Cao Pai, Cao Cao's ambitious son, right? He's amidst the chaos of a newly conquered Jizu, and he encounters two weeping women, Yuan Shao's wife, Lu Shi, and Yuan Shi's wife, Zhen Shi.
What an entrance.
Exactly. He initially draws his sword, like ready to strike, but then something shifts. A red light appears, apparently, and he pauses. It's quite an introduction, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the immediate pivot from, violence to curiosity is striking. He asks who they are, and when he finds out, especially when he sees Zenshi, he uses his own sleeve to wipe her face clean. The whole scene just flips.
Yeah.
The source describes her as having jade skin and a flower-like face with a beauty that could overthrow a kingdom. I mean, pretty vivid.
Wow.
And Cao Pai is so captivated. And it's worth noting that red light, it's kind of a classic literary flourish in the romance, often signaling, destiny or divine favor.
All right.
It's a reminder that while we're pulling out historical insights, this is a fictionalized account, though one that feels very true to human nature.
That makes sense. And what's truly remarkable is how fast Cao Pi pivots from maybe aggression to, well, he introduces himself as Cao Cao's son and promises protection. But the deeper power play really starts when Cao Cao himself shows up.
Yeah.
He actually scolds his son for entering first, which is interesting. And then Lu Shi offers Zhen Shi to Cao Pi.
And Cao Cao sees Zhen Shi and says, "Truly she is my son's wife," and just orders Cao Pai to take her. Pretty definitive.
Right.
And here's maybe our first key insight. Even something like personal desire in a time of conquest, it becomes a tool for power transfer. Cao Cao immediately sanctioning his son's choice. It signals not just, maybe family affection, but it's a symbolic claiming of his rival's legacy.
So it's not just a romance, it's politics.
Exactly. It's a powerful statement of conquest, cementing that transfer of power. It shows how quickly personal lives get tangled up with political destiny. The strategic absorption of a rival's family, it was often a very visible sign of the victor's new authority.
Okay, so moving on. As Cao Cao finally enters Jizu proper, we see this really fascinating, kind of complicated side of his character. His old advisor, Yu Yu, comes up to him in the city gate, really loudly boasting, calls Cao Cao a man.
Which is pretty informal, even disrespectful, maybe.
Right, and says, if you didn't have me, how could you enter this gate? So what do you make of Cao Cao's reaction? He just laughs, even though his generals are clearly annoyed.
Yeah, it's a really insightful moment. It reveals a core part of Cao Cao's pragmatism, I think, and maybe a surprising tolerance for old friends, even when they're being, disrespectful.
He values the result over the insult.
Seems like it. He values the contribution. But here's where it gets really interesting. Cao Cao doesn't just stride into Jizu like some simple conqueror.
What does he do?
He goes straight to Yuan Shao's tomb, offers sacrifices, bows twice, and apparently weeps sorrowfully.
Wow. Weeps.
Yeah. And he even recounts this deep conversation they supposedly had ages ago, where Yuan Shao talked about securing territory, and Cao Cao talked about employing the wisdom and strength of all under heaven, governing with the way.
That's amazing. He blends total military dominance with this profound display of respect for his dead rival.
It is amazing. And then he grants Yuan Shao's wife, Lu Shi, gold, silk, grain, rice.
Yeah.
All the provisions.
Okay.
And crucially, he exempts all Jizu residents from rent and taxes for the year because of the war.
So he's cementing his rule, not just with swords, but with respect and generosity.
Precisely. This public mourning, the generosity, it's a strategic masterstroke. It's an immediate lesson in how you consolidate power beyond the battlefield.
Winning hearts and minds.
Exactly. Winning hearts and minds, showing respect for tradition even as he's taking over. He's not just grabbing land, he's claiming the moral high ground. He establishes himself as the legitimate ruler, right then and there appointing himself Jizu governor. So maybe insight #2, real consolidation of power isn't just military might. It's about winning people over with strategic displays of respect and benevolence.
Speaking of those who helped, let's go back to Yu Yu, the guy whose pride seems to know no bounds.
Oh, him again. Yeah.
He bumps into Zhu Chu, who is one of Cao Cao's fiercest, most loyal generals, right at the East Gate.
Okay.
And Zhu Yu repeats his boasts. If you didn't have me, how could you all enter or exit this gate?
Oh, boy. And Zhu Chu, his men fought and bled for this city. He understandably just explodes, right? Tells Yu Yu he fought bravely to take the city.
Right, but Yu Yu tragically just keeps pushing him. He calls Yu Chu and his men mere commoners not worth mentioning.
Oh, That's a massive insult in that kind of hierarchical society, crossing a line.
Definitely. And Zhu Chu, known for his loyalty but also his strength, he just draws his sword and kills Yu Yu right there
Wow.
and brings his head to Cao Cao.
Intense.
So now Cao Cao has this really difficult choice, doesn't he? His old friend is dead, but it was his loyal, if maybe hot-headed general who did it.
Yeah.
How does he handle this? The text says he laments Yu Yu is just joking around, blames Zhu Chu, but still orders Yu Yu buried with honor.
It brings up that crucial point about command, doesn't it? That line between personal loyalty and military discipline. Cao Cao's reaction, it shows his personal feelings, sure, but also his absolute need to maintain order. He reprimands Zhu Chu not just for the killing, but for what it implies about his authority, right? Even while probably knowing Zhu Chu's loyalty is fierce.
Oh, it's a calculated move.
I think so.
Yeah.
It demonstrates that even an important old friendship can't totally excuse undermining military hierarchy and basic decorum.
Got it.
So a leader has to weigh personal ties against the need for order and discipline, even when it's painful.
Okay, makes sense. So Jizu is secured. What's next? Cao Cao immediately looks for local wise men to help him govern.
Smart move.
He's pointed towards Kuiyan, a respected scholar. Apparently he'd advised Yuan Shao, but wasn't really listened to. Cao Cao recruits him. And in their first big interaction, Cao Cao proudly announces the census results. Jizu has 300,000 households, quite a great prefecture. He's clearly pleased with this number, sees it as success.
Right, the metric of success. But Kuyan, he doesn't just nod along, does he?
Not at all. He challenges him, unflinchingly. Points out that the world is fragmented, that Yuan brothers fighting left, Jizu people's bones littering the fields,
Ouch.
and says Cao Cao is just counting households instead of focusing on the people suffering. He asks, very directly, is this what the gentry and common people of this prefecture expect from the prime minister?
Wow. That's incredibly bold. Speaking truth to power literally moments after that power has arrived.
It really is. And Cao Cao's response is just, it's incredible. He changes his expression, apologizes, and treats Kuyan as an honored guest.
That's telling, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a powerful demonstration of a leader who, despite having all this power and fresh off a huge win, is willing to actually listen to harsh but true advice. What does this say about his long-term thinking?
Well, it showcases his capacity for maybe self-reflection and his understanding that real leadership needs more than just soldiers and numbers.
Right.
It needs empathy. It needs focusing on the people's well-being, especially after a war. This interaction really cements Kuyan's importance and shows Cao Cao's strategic intelligence. He values wisdom even when it stings a bit. Trim leaders value actionable wisdom over flattery or even their own immediate satisfaction. They know hard truths are essential for actually governing well.
Okay, so while Cao Cao is doing all this consolidating, the defeated Yuan brothers are unbelievably still fighting each other.
Oh, this part is just, yeah.
Yuan Tan, another son, is busy pillaging and attacking his brother Yuan Shang. Yuan Shang flees to another brother, Yuan Ji. Then Yuan Tan decides he wants to retake Jizu himself.
Yeah.
But he refuses Cao Cao's summons. So Cao Cao breaks their marriage alliance.
There was a marriage alliance.
Apparently. And personally leads a huge army to deal with Yuan Tan. The Yuans are just sabotaging themselves.
They absolutely are. It really highlights the self-destructive nature of that family. Their constant infighting after losing to Cao Cao basically just hands him the rest of their power. No unified resistance possible.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, right? Can a family's internal fights be even worse for them than an external enemy?
Seems like it here. So Yuan Tan gets desperate. He asks Liu Biao, a powerful southern warlord, for help.
Okay.
And Liu Biao consults Liu Bei, who by now is, a pretty seasoned strategist himself. What's Liu Bei's advice in this tricky spot?
Liu Bei's advice is just pure strategic realism. A masterclass. He correctly sees that Cao Cao's just too strong after taking Jizu.
Right.
He figures the Yuan brothers are doomed anyway. Helping them is pointless. He tells Liu Biao, basically just conserve your strength, defend your own turf, Jingxing, because everyone knows Cao Cao wants that next.
Smart. Stay out of it.
Very smart. In these huge power shifts, strategic realism and self-preservation often beat sentimental alliances. You have to know when to hold back.
And then Liu Bei does something even more clever, right? With letters.
Oh, yeah. He crafts these two brilliant letters to the Yuan brothers. On the surface, they seem like he's trying to reconcile them, but really...
They're pretty cutting.
Definitely. To Yuan Tan, he subtly criticizes him for surrendering earlier, reminds him of, ancestral hatred. To Yuan Shang, he suggests they should team up against Cao Cao first. But then he drops this powerful illusion, Hanlu and Dongguo, two dogs that fight until they're exhausted, and then a farmer just scoops them both up.
Oof, brutal. He's basically saying they're doing Cao Cao's dirty work for him by fighting each other.
Exactly. It's a brilliant way to refuse help while still sounding somewhat diplomatic, but the message is clear.
Wow.
And Yuan Tan gets it. He sees through the letters, realizes no help is coming, and abandons Pingwan, another key spot, to flee to Nanpi. And Cao Cao is right on his heels.
It really shows how psychological warfare, perception management, it's just as important as armies.
Absolutely crucial.
Cao Cao relentlessly pursuing Yuan Tan to Nanpi.
Yeah.
And the conditions are terrible.
Yeah.
It's brutal weather, the rivers are frozen, his grain ships are stuck.
Right, a logistical nightmare.
So he orders the local people to break the ice and pull the ships. But they're desperate, maybe scared of being conscripted, and they just flee instead.
Understandable, really, given the times.
Cao Cao, in a rage, threatens to execute them, which terrifyingly makes the villagers turn themselves in.
Yeah, and this is where we see another really fascinating side of Cao Cao. He's facing that classic leader's dilemma, order versus compassion.
What does he do?
He looks at them, and the text gives him this extraordinary line. He says something like, "If I don't kill you, then my orders won't be followed. But if I kill you, I cannot bear it."
Whoa.
And then he tells them, "You should quickly hide in the mountains so my soldiers do not capture you." And the people leave, weeping. Cao Cao's campaign against Yuan Tan at Nanti. And this confrontation, it gets personal really fast.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, Cao Cao rides out, faces Yuan Tan, and pretty much immediately berates him. He's like, "I treated you so kindly. Why are you doing this? Why the ill intent?"
Playing the victim card, maybe?
Kind of, but Yuan Tan just fires right back. He says, "You invaded my territory, seized my cities, held my wife and children, and I'm the one with ill intent."
Okay, fair point from Yuan Tan there.
Definitely sets the stage. Fiery.
So what happens next? The actual fighting.
Right, the initial skirmish.
Yep.
Xu Huang, one of Cao Cao's top generals,
A powerhouse.
he quickly deals with Peng An, one of Yuan Tan's commanders, just takes him out.
Ouch. A bad start for Yuan Tan.
Yeah, his forces are routed, and he's forced to retreat back into the walled city of Nanpi.
And Cao Cao's army follows.
Swiftly, they surround the city. Classic siege situation.
Okay, so Yuan Tan's cornered.
Exactly. Facing a pretty desperate situation, he sends his advisor, Yu Ping, to try and negotiate a surrender.
Does Cao Cao listen?
Not really. He basically dismisses Yuan Tan as fickle and untrustworthy.
Okay, so no deal.
But here's where it gets interesting. Cao Cao then praises Xin Ping's brother, Xin Pai.
Xin Pai, who had already gone over to Cao Cao's side.
Right. Cao Cao praises him and even suggests Xin Ping should do the same, defect.
And this is where Xin Ping delivers that amazing line you mentioned earlier.
This is it. His response is just this unequivocal declaration of loyalty.
Lord's honor, vassal's glory. Lord's sorrow, vassal's shame.
Exactly. It wasn't just like a polite no thanks. It was profound.
Yeah, it speaks volumes. He's saying his whole identity, his very worth, is tied completely to his Lord's fate.
Unbreakable loyalty.
Who sees no other option, even facing defeat. Serve the Yan family, period.
It really is powerful. Absolute loyalty, even when things look completely hopeless. Cao Cao realizes he can't sway him, sends him back, but then tragedy strikes.
Ugh, what happens when he gets back to Yuan Tan?
Well, Yuan Tan probably panicking and suspicious.
Yeah, siege mentality setting in.
He unfairly accuses Xin Ping of having two hearts, basically divided loyalty just because his brother serves Cao Cao.
Oh, that's harsh. And completely misreading Xin Ping's character after that declaration.
Totally. And Xin Ping is just utterly overcome. The injustice of it, the accusation. The text says he was filled with such anger and grief that he collapsed and died right there.
Wow, died from anger.
Seems so. And Yuan Tan apparently instantly regretted it. He saw his mistake.
Too late, though. And what a way to lose a truly loyal advisor.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't just a sad story, is it? It really shows how a leader's paranoia, especially in a crisis.
Their backfires spectacularly.
Exactly. It destroys the very loyalty they need most. Yuan Tan basically shot himself in the foot.
Undermined his own position right when he needed that trust. It's a stark reminder, isn't it? Break that trust.
And the consequences can be devastating. Irreversible sometimes.
Right. So, Nampi's still under siege. Xin Ping is dead.
Yeah.
What's Yuan Tan's next move?
Well, his other advisor, Guotu, comes up with this, well, truly desperate and pretty horrific strategy.
Okay, what is it?
Use the city's civilians as a human shield.
What? Seriously.
Seriously. They armed them, like, with knives and spears and literally pushed them out ahead of the army.
Oh, that's brutal, just forcing ordinary people into the front lines.
Yeah, the text says they drove all the common people out to lead the charge, hoping to overwhelm Cao Cao's forces, I guess.
It just shows the absolute desperation and, frankly, the disregard for human life in that kind of situation.
The battle raged from dawn till noon. Long, bloody, immense casualties among the civilians caught in the middle.
Just unimaginable.
Yeah,
Did it work? Did it break the stalemate?
it created this brutal stalemate, yeah. But then Cao Cao does something remarkable.
What's that?
He gets off his horse, climbs a hill nearby where everyone can see him, and starts beating the war drum himself. Leading from the front, you know?
Wow. That must have had a huge impact on his troops' morale.
Absolutely. The text says they surged forward, and in the chaos that followed...
Yuan Tan gets caught.
Yeah. Cao Hong, another of Cao Cao's fierce generals, finds Yuan Tan in the thick of it and kills him.
So that's the end for Yuan Tan. What about Guo Tu, the advisor with the terrible plan?
He tried to escape back into the city, but Li Jin spots him.
Another of Cao Cao's generals.
Right. Li Jin shoots him with an arrow. Guo Tu and his horse just tumble into the city moat. End of story for him, too.
A brutal end to a brutal battle.
Definitely. So Nampi falls. What happens immediately after?
Well, you see this immediate shift in allegiances. It's quite striking.
Like who?
Yuan Shi's generals, Zhao Chu and Zhang Nan. They surrender right away.
And Cao Cao accepts.
Accepts and rewards them. Makes them marquises, which is, high-ranking nobility.
Yeah.
Shows the value of switching sides.
Okay, so pragmatism wins out for them. Anyone else?
Oh, yeah. The really big one is Zhang Yan, the leader of the Black Mountain Bandits.
Right, a major force in the region.
He surrenders with, get this, 100,000 troops.
Wow, that's huge. What does Cao Cao do with him?
Appoints him general, who pacifies the north. Gives him a key military command. Again, pragmatism. Integrate former enemies. Use their strength.
So a wave of surrender and integration, but then comes this counterpoint you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. Amidst all this practical switching of sides, you get this incredible act of defiance and loyalty.
This involves Yuan Tan's head.
Yeah. Cao Cao issues this grim order. Yuan Tan's severed head is put on display.
Okay.
And anyone caught crying over it will be executed.
Chilling. Forbidding mourning.
But then Wang Shu, who used to be an official under Yuan Tan, he walks right up to the head in public and just openly weeps beneath it.
Wow. Knowing the risk, that takes extraordinary courage.
Absolutely. And when Cao Cao himself confronts him, Wang Shu doesn't back down.
What does he say?
He gives his amazing defense, something like, I served him in life. Not mourning him now would be unrighteous. If I fear death and forget righteousness, how can I even face the world?
Incredible integrity.
And then he adds, if I can just bury Tan's body, I'll die without regret.
So what does Cao Cao do? Execute him?
This is the surprising part. Cao Cao is actually impressed. He praises Wang Shu, calls him righteous,
Really?
orders Yuan Tan's body to be properly buried, and makes Wang Shu a superior guest and scribe of gold. Honors him.
That is surprising, especially given Cao Cao's reputation for, well, ruthlessness. Why do you think he did that? Was it just respect or something more strategic?
That's a great question, and I think it's both. But the strategic element is key to understanding Cao Cao. Yes, there's genuine respect for that kind of integrity. But by honoring Wang Zhi's loyalty to an enemy?
He's sending a message.
Exactly. A powerful message to everyone else in Hebei, that northern heartland, especially any remaining Yuan loyalists. He's saying, I value principle, even if you are on the other side.
So it encourages others to surrender, knowing their integrity might be respected.
Precisely. It builds goodwill, it's strategic magnanimity. Cao Cao even reflects on all the righteous gentlemen in Hebei and says, the Yuans failed to use them properly.
Implying if they had, he might not have dared attack.
Right. It shows he understood the power of character and talent even in his opponents.
Makes sense. And this respect for Wang Shu continues, doesn't it?
It does. Later, when Cao Cao asked Wang Shu for advice on how to beat Yuan Shang and Yuan Shi,
The remaining Yuan brothers.
Wang Shu refuses. He says he can't offer strategy against his former master's family, even though he's now serving Cao Cao.
Sticking to his principles.
And Cao Cao, instead of getting angry, respects him more, calls him a loyal minister.
Fascinating. So, if Wang Shu won't give advice, who does? How does Cao Cao plan his next move?
That falls to Guo Jia, Cao Cao's brilliant strategist.
Okay, what's his idea?
Guo Jia gives some shrewd counsel. He says, basically, Use the Yuan generals who just surrendered Jiaochu and Zhongnan.
Turn them against their former allies.
Exactly. Leverage that internal conflict. Let the Yuans fight the Yuans. Essentially, a very clever move.
Did it work?
Perfectly. Yuan Shang and Yuan Ji, probably seeing their former commanders coming after them, realize they can't hold out.
So they run.
They abandon their cities, use Yunizhu, and flee east, way out to Liaxi.
Oh, yeah. Who's out there?
They seek refuge with the Wuhan. They're a nomadic people, a tribal confederation in that region.
Okay, so they're trying to regroup with outside help.
But before we follow them there's another little vignette of loyalty back in Yuzu, the city they just abandoned.
Oh, what happened there?
Well, the governor, the guy named Wu Huanshu, confusingly, same name element as the tribe, but he's the governor.
Okay.
He surrenders Yuzhou to Cao Cao and gathers all the local officials to pledge loyalty. He even threatens execution for anyone who refuses.
Standard procedure for taking over, seems like.
Pretty much. But then, one official, Han Heng, who used to be an aide to the Yuan family,
Okay, another loyalist.
he steps forward, throws his sword down dramatically, and declares, I received great kindness from the Yuan family. If I am to surrender to Cao, I will not do it.
Wow, right in front of everyone, and the governor who just threatened death.
Yep, big shock. But Wu Wanchu, the governor, maybe respecting that sheer conviction, just lets him go, allows him to leave freely.
Another instance where principle earns respect, even from the opposition.
It seems so. It shows that even in this world of shifting alliances, that kind of steadfastness could still command respect.
Okay, so Yuan Shang and Yuan Shi have fled. What about Gao Gan, the other ally we mentioned?
Right, Gao Gan. He's holding this really strategic position, Huku Pass.
And Cao Cao needs to take it.
Absolutely. But Cao's generals, Di Dian, Li Jian, even the newly surrendered Zhang Yan with his huge force, they're struggling. They can't break through.
A stalemate again.
A complete stalemate. Hukou Pass is tough.
So time for another brilliant strategist.
You guessed it. This time it's Sun Yu who steps in.
What's his advice?
He suggests a false surrender scheme. Deception is the key.
Plain dirty. How does it work?
Well, Cao Cao uses two other generals who had previously surrendered from the Yuan side, Lu Kuang and Lu Xiang.
Okay.
He has them pretend to be unhappy with him, like they wanted to defect back to the Yuan cause and rejoin Gao Gan.
Sending them in as double agents, basically. Does Gao Gan buy it?
He's initially suspicious, as you'd expect. It smells like a trap.
Right. Seems obvious.
But somehow, maybe desperation clouds his judgment. He falls for it. He accepts them back.
Big mistake.
Huge. He then trusts them enough to send them out with 10,000 troops for a night raid on Cao Cao's main camp.
Walking right into it.
Completely. It's an ambush, of course. Cao's forces are ready. They spring the trap. Gao Gan's raid is crushed, and he's forced to retreat.
And who could pass?
While Gao Gan is reeling from the ambush, Li Jian and Li Dian seize the moment and capture the now weakened Hukou Pass.
Cleverly done. So Gao Gan's lost his stronghold. What now?
He's desperate. He flees north to the Shanyu.
Another nomadic group, powerful neighbors. Is he hoping they'll fight Cao Cao for him?
That's the plan. He goes to their leader, the Shanyu specifically. The text mentions the left-worthy king, a key prince, and tries to persuade him to intervene.
Attack Cao Cao. That seems risky for the Xiongnu.
Extremely risky.
Yeah.
And the left-worthy king sees it exactly that way. He's purely pragmatic.
What does he say?
His refusal is quite famous. He basically says, look, I have no beef with Cao Cao. Why on earth would I make an enemy of him just for you?
Ouch. Cold, hard calculation. No room for sentiment there.
None at all. It's a stark contrast to the deep personal loyalties we saw with Shen Ping or Wang Xiu. Here, it's just self-interest and survival.
So Gao Gan is out of allies.
Completely. He tries one last desperate move fleeing south, hoping to reach Liu Biao, another warlord.
Does he make it?
Nope. On the way, he's intercepted and killed by Wang Yan, who's the prefect of Shengluo.
And Wang Yang.
Sends Gao Gan's head to Cao Cao and gets rewarded for it.
Another example of pragmatism or maybe opportunism winning out.
It really highlights that, while loyalty is powerful, self-preservation and strategic thinking often dictated the outcomes for these bigger players. Cao Cao has just secured Bing province, a pretty important northern area. Now he's looking west, contemplating this major expedition. And it's not just a land grab. It's really about consolidating his power base, eliminating these lingering threats. The Wuhuan, specifically, were these nomadic tribes up northeast. And they'd previously allied with his rivals, so they were definitely a thorn in his side.
Okay, right. So let's dive into that. Cao Cao is set. He wants to attack the Wuhuan, but immediately you mentioned his advisors, his generals like Cao Hong, they push back hard. What's their main worry?
Well, their concern is, from a military perspective, completely understandable. It's about vulnerability back home.
Oh.
They basically warn him, look, if you march way out there, guys like Liu Bei and Liu Biao could see their chance. They might just attack Zudu, your capital, and you'd be stuck miles away, totally unable to respond. It's that classic problem, right? Secure the frontier, protect the heartland.
Yeah, a fundamental strategic dilemma. So the generals are clearly against it. But then Guo Jia steps in. Cao Cao's, well, renowned strategist. He sees it differently.
Completely differently. And what's fascinating about Guo Ji's argument is how many layers it has. It's not just one thing.
Okay.
First, he says the Wuhuan, they won't expect it. They feel safe way out there, thinking they're too remote. So perfect timing for a surprise attack.
Right, catch them off guard.
Exactly. Second, he stresses you have to deal with Yuan Shang and Yuan Shi. These are the sons of Yuan Shao, Cao Cao's old arch-rival. They fled north and still have connections, influence with the Wuhuan because of their father's past goodwill. You need to stamp that out.
Okay, eliminate that potential rallying point. Makes sense.
And then, crucially, he just dismisses Liu Biao back south. He basically says, look, Liu Biao is indecisive, ineffective. He can't really control or properly empower Liu Bei. So that threat to the capital, Guo Jia thinks it's, well, maybe overblown. The home front is actually relatively secure in his view.
Wow, okay, so a very different risk assessment. And Cao Cao, he buys it. He goes with Guo Ji's plan.
He does. He's convinced. He decides to push forward. But the reality of the campaign train, it hits them almost immediately. It turns into this incredibly brutal slog.
Yeah, the text describes it vividly. This huge yellow desert, these fierce winds, roads that are just rugged and almost impossible to travel on. It sounds absolutely punishing.
Oh, incredibly so.
Yeah.
You have to picture this massive army trying to move through that.
It says even Cao Cao himself started to have second thoughts, considered turning back. That tells you something, doesn't it? If he was wavering.
It absolutely does. And it really hammers home that point, you know? Even the best plans run smack into reality. But what's amazing is Guo Jia, who's actually really sick at this point, he's literally lying ill in his carriage.
Wow, still advising.
Still advising. He gets another piece of absolutely critical advice. He reminds Cao Cao, speed is of the essence in war. He says, ditch the heavy baggage, the supply wagons, take light troops, move fast, launch that surprise attack you planned. Don't get bogged down.
Okay, adapt the plan on the fly. But there's a problem, right? They need someone who actually knows this awful terrain.
Exactly. Speed is great, but speed in the wrong direction or into an impassable swamp is useless. They need a guide.
So Guo Jia, unfortunately, has to be left behind in Yizhou to recover. Cao Cao's army is kind of stuck in this hostile place, needing directions. Who steps up?
Well, almost miraculously, they find this man, Tian Chao. He used to be general under Yuan Shao.
Oh, interesting.
And he knows this border region like the back of his hand. He takes one look at their current route and says, basically, forget it. This is impassable.
Why? What was the issue?
He says the water levels are all wrong. It's too shallow for the chariots to float across properly, but it's too deep for the boats they have. They're just stuck.
Okay, so dead end. What does he suggest?
He suggests something audacious. He says, turn back, go via the Lulongkou Pass, cut through the dangers of Beituan. It's a completely unexpected route. And the whole point is to emerge near Lucheng, the Wuhuan capital, taking them totally by surprise from a direction they'd never anticipate. He's so confident, he even predicts they'll capture Tadun, the Wuhuan leader, really quickly.
Wow. Turning back to go forward on a dangerous, unknown path. That's a huge gamble, even with a local guide.
A massive gamble, especially given how tough the journey already was. But Cao Cao, he trusts Tian Chao. He makes him the guide, adopts the plan, and they push on. They reach Beilang Mountain, and bam, there they are. The combined forces of Yuan Shi, Yuan Shang, and Tadun.
The decisive moment. How does it play out?
It's a fantastic example of Cao Cao's battlefield sense. He looks at the enemy lines and immediately sees they're disorganized and uneven. There's no cohesion.
Ah, an opening.
A huge opening.
Yeah.
He doesn't hesitate. He orders Zhang Liao, one of his best generals, to lead this lightning-fast four-pronged attack with Zhu Chu, Yu Jin, and Xu Huang also charging in.
Hit them hard and fast while they're disorganized.
Exactly. And because Tidun's forces were in such disarray, they just collapse. Zhang Liao himself actually strikes down Tadun in the fighting. The Yuan brothers, Shi and Shang, they managed to escape, fleeing further northeast to Liaodong. But the main Wuhuan army is completely shattered.
Incredible. A swift, decisive victory after all that hardship. Lu Cheng is secured. So Cao Cao must be thrilled with Tian Chao, the guide who made it possible.
Absolutely. He offers Tian Chao a really high honor Marquis of Luting, a noble title, land, the works.
A fitting reward, you'd think.
You would think, but Tian Chao's reaction is, well, it's stunning. He refuses. Nearfully, apparently.
Refuses. Why?
He says he was a fugitive who fled his duty. He couldn't accept a reward for what he saw as essentially betraying his old post, for selling Lulong's stronghold, as the text puts it. He felt it was a matter of integrity.
Wow, that takes some serious conviction. How does Cao Cao react to that?
Cao Cao is deeply impressed. He respects Tian Chao's integrity, this sense of personal honor, even more than the strategic benefit he provided. So instead of the Marquis title, he points him as a counselor, recognizing his moral strength. It's a really interesting moment.
It really is. Shows a different side of leadership, valuing character. But the story isn't quite over, is it? The return journey sounds like it was almost worse than getting there.
Yeah, it's a grim reminder that victory doesn't mean the hardship ends. The army faces just brutal conditions on the way back. Cold and dry weather, a stretch of 200 miles that's like 60 miles with absolutely no water. They run out of food.
Oof. What did they do?
It got desperate. They resorted to killing horses for food. And to find water, they had to dig these incredibly deep wells, 30 to 40 zhang deep. Think about digging down maybe 10 stories into the frozen, dry earth just to survive. It was an absolutely grueling return.
Just unimaginable hardship, even after winning the battle. So finally, they make it back to Yizhu. They're safe. And then Cao Cao does something, well, something completely unexpected regarding those generals who initially told him not to go.
Right. This is maybe one of the most fascinating parts of the whole story from a leadership perspective. He actually rewards the generals who advised against the campaign in the first place.
He rewards them. Why? That seems totally counterintuitive. They were wrong.
Well, this is where you see Cao Cao's, perhaps, surprising humility, or at least his political shrewdness. He gathers them and basically says, look, we won. But honestly, it was lucky. It was heaven blessed. He acknowledges the immense risk he took.
Okay.
And he praises their original advice. He calls it the plan for utter safety. And crucially, he tells them, don't you ever hesitate to tell me the risks, to argue against me in the future. Your counsel is valuable, even when I choose a different path. We're in Yizhu. Cao Cao is there, but he's in deep grief.
Right. His top strategist, Guojia, or Feng Xiao, his courtesy name, showing that closeness, he's just died.
And Cao Cao is heartbroken. The text says he attends the funeral rites, bursts into tears, and actually cries out, Feng Xiao died. This is heaven's loss for me.
Yeah, he really reflects on Guojia's youth, too. Only 38, you know. Served him for 11 years. Cao Cao laments that he wanted to entrust the future to him. Says his heart and guts are bursting with sorrow. It's powerful stuff.
But even in that grief, something happens, right? Guojia still has one last move.
That's the incredible part. Guojia's attendants come forward and present Cao Cao with a sealed letter.
Penned by Guojia himself before he died.
Exactly, with a very specific instruction. Follow this advice, and the whole Liaodong problem will sort itself out.
And Cao Cao reads it.
He just reads it, nods, sighs kind of in appreciation. But crucially, he doesn't tell anyone else what's in it.
Oh, wow. So everyone's just left wondering. Talk about suspense.
Huge tension. And there is an immediate problem. Liaodong.
Right, ruled by Governor Gongsun Kang. He'd been, let's say, difficult for a while. Disobedient.
And to make things worse, Cao Cao's enemies, the Yuan brothers, Yuan Shi and Yuan Sheng, they've just lost a major battle and fled there.
With thousands of cavalry, no less. So naturally, Cao Cao's generals are getting nervous.
Understandably, Si Dun, other officials, they're all urging Cao Cao, look, you have to invade Liaodong now.
Their argument being, if Gongsun Kang harbors these guys, they'll just rebuild and cause trouble later. Makes sense, right? Strike while the iron's hot.
That is definitely the conventional military thinking. Hit them hard, hit them fast.
But Cao Cao, he does something completely different.
Totally unexpected. He laughs.
He laughs,
Yeah.
facing this potential threat.
Laughs. And confidently tells his generals, there is no need for your fierce might. He actually predicts that in just a few days, Gongsun Kang himself will send him the heads of the Yuan brothers.
Okay, hold on. How could he possibly know that? His generals must have thought he'd lost it.
They were completely astonished, disbelieving. It went against everything they knew about warfare.
So this all comes back to Guojia's secret letter, presumably. What was the insight there?
It boils down to Guojia's profound understanding of the players involved. especially Gongsun Kang.
Okay.
Guoji knew Gongsun Kang saw the Yuan family, even in their weakened state, as a long-term threat to his own power in Liaodong. Rival warlords, basically.
Right. Regional power struggles.
Exactly. And crucially, Guoji figured that if Cao Cao attacked Liaodong, it would force Gongsun Kang and the Yuan brothers together, a common enemy uniting them.
Ah, okay. The enemy of my enemy.
Precisely. But if Cao Cao held back, showed no aggression towards Liaodong, then the natural suspicion and ambition between Gongsun Kang and the Yuans would take over.
They turn on each other.
It was, in Guoji's view, their natural course of events. He banked on internal conflict being stronger than a forced external alliance. Pure psychology.
So while Cao Cao is playing this waiting game, what are the Yuan brothers actually doing in Liaodong?
Well, they arrive with their cavalry, desperate but also, scheming.
Oh, they weren't just looking for a safe haven.
Not at all. Get this. Their secret plan was to pretend as an ally with Gongsun Kang, wait for an opportunity, assassinate him, seize Liaodong for themselves, rebuild their forces, and then go after Cao Cao again.
Wow, that's ambitious and treacherous.
Very. So they present themselves to Gongsun Kang, but he's cagey. He puts them up in a guest house and pretends to be sick to avoid meeting them right away.
Playing for time. He's already suspicious, just like Guojia thought.
Exactly. Which brings us to Gongsun Kang's dilemma. He's got these dangerous guests. What does he do?
He calls a council, right? Tries to figure it out with his officials.
Yes. And a relative, Gongsun Gong, gives him some very blunt advice.
What does he say?
He basically warns Kang, look, Yuan Shao, their father, always wanted Liaodong. These sons arriving now, it's like a cuckoo trying to steal a magpie's nest. Classic analogy.
Don't trust them.
Not for a second. Gongsun Gong says, kill them. Send their heads to Cao Cao. Get in his good graces. Secure a reward. Smart, opportunistic politics.
But Kang hesitated initially.
Yeah, he worried, well, if I don't take them in, maybe Cao Cao will invade me. He felt caught between a rock and a hard place.
So what tipped the balance?
Gongsun Gong had a clever follow-up. He said, okay, send spies, see what Cao Cao's army is doing.
Check if the threat is real.
Exactly. If Cao Cao is marching on Liaodong, fine, keep the Yuans, use them to help defend, but, and this is key, if Cao Cao is just sitting tight, not attacking.
And kill the Yuans and send the heads. Because Cao Cao isn't an immediate threat, but the Yuans are.
Precisely. It removes the internal threat while Cao Cao is passively allowing it. Gongsun Kang saw the logic. He agreed.
And this is where Guojia's plan really clicks into place, isn't it?
This is the golden moment. The spies come back. And the news. Cao Cao's army is still stationed way back in Yuzhou. No sign of movement towards Liaodong at all.
He held his nerve, followed Guojia's advice perfectly.
Perfectly. And for Gongsun Kang, this news is confirmation. Cao Cao isn't coming for him. The immediate danger is internal.
So he decides. Time to act.
Decisively. He gets assassins ready, hidden behind curtains in his main hall. Then he summons Yuan Shi and Yuan Shang for that delayed meeting.
Must have been tense.
Oh, incredibly. The source even notes the weather was severe. During the meeting, Yuan Shang, maybe feeling a bit entitled still, notices there are no cushions on the bed or seating area.
He asks for one.
He asks Gongsun Kang for a seat cushion, and Kang just snaps.
What does he say?
Eyes wide with anger, he retorts, your two heads are about to travel 10,000 miles. What need for cushions?
Chilling. Absolutely chilling.
And right then he shouts for the guards. The assassins rush out.
And they kill him. Right there.
Behead both Yuan Shi and Yuan Shang on the spot. Brutal. Heads go straight into wooden boxes, dispatched immediately to Cao Cao in Yuzhou.
Just like Guojia predicted. Unbelievable.
Meanwhile, back in Yuzhou, Cao Cao is still waiting patiently. His generals, like Shahu Dan and Zhang Liao, are getting antsy again. They're worried about Liu Biao in the south making a move.
They're urging him. Let's go back to Zhuchang, the capital.
But Cao Cao insists, nope. We wait until those heads arrive. His faith in Guojia's plan is absolute.
And then?
Then the news arrives. Envoys from Gongsun Kang are here with the heads.
The reaction must have been stunning.
Everyone is utterly astonished, gobsmacked. And Cao Cao
He laughs again.
bursts into laughter, exclaims, just as Feng Xiao predicted. He rewards the envoy generously, officially makes Gongsun Kang the Marquis of Zhangping and left general, seals the deal.
And now he reveals the letter.
Yes. When everyone's asking how he possibly knew, he finally shows them Guojia's letter.
And the core advice was?
Essentially, Yuan Shi and Yuan Shang have fled to Liudong. Lord, you must absolutely not send troops.
Don't attack.
Gong Sun Kang fears being swallowed by the Yuan family. Their arrival will make him suspicious. If you attack, they'll unite against you, and it'll be a tough fight. But if you hold back,
They will inevitably turn on each other. It is their natural course of events. Wow.
it's just laid it all out. The psychology, the incentives. By doing nothing militarily, Cao Cao exerted the perfect amount of psychological pressure.
All the officials were just in awe, I bet.
Completely filled with awe, praising Guoji's genius. Cao Cao holds another memorial service for him.
The source even includes a poem about him, right?
Yeah, praising him as heaven-born, a hero above the rest, with history and strategy within his belly and hidden armies in his chest. Compares him to legendary strategists like Fan Li and Chen Ping.
And laments his early death as, what was it, the tilting of a pillar of the Central Plains. A huge loss.
Truly, a remarkable display of strategic thinking, all set in motion before his death.
So, with the North seemingly settled, thanks to this posthumous brilliance, Cao Cao finally heads back.
Leads his army back to Jizu. Makes sure Guojia's coffin is sent to Zhuchang for a proper burial, acknowledging that debt.
But warlords never rest, do they? What's next on the agenda?
Almost immediately, Cheng Yu and others start urging him, okay, time to think south, time to conquer Jianyan, south of the Yangtze River.
And Cao Cao's reaction?
He's keen. He says it's been a long-held ambition of his, ready for the next challenge.
But there's a little hesitation, or observation first.
Yeah, interestingly, maybe having just seen the power of patience and observation, he doesn't just jump in. That night, he's up in a watchtower in Jizu with another advisor, Sun Yu,
Looking at the stars.
looking at the stars. And he notes that the prosperous key, like the energy or momentum in the south, seems really strong. He suggests maybe it's not quite the right time to attack.
Still cautious, still observing,
Yeah.
learning the lessons maybe.
Seems like it. And then something else happens. As they're watching the sky, suddenly this golden light erupts from the ground nearby.
A golden light, what's that about?
Sun Yu immediately suggests it means buried treasure.
And Cao Cao.
Orders a search straight away. Another potential opportunity revealing itself, perhaps through patience and observation, just like Guojia's strategy relied on.
What an incredible story.